watching a master at work.
You ready? Let's go! Yeah. For those of you that want to know what we're all about, it's like this, y'all. This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Welcome to the coolest show on UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. Thanks to the guys in the booth, Jason and John. We're coming at you even with blustery conditions outside. Now, our professional snow fighter is not here tonight, so the panel is reduced down to just 4 men as opposed to 6 men. Myself and the one they call the orange and blue fighter, Big Wayne.
How's it going, Champaign-Urbana? Let's talk sports.
You just want to talk sports, or you want to talk sports?
It's called Tell It Like It Is. We talk about whatever y'all want to talk about.
Yeah, Stat Girl. I see you came in on the Frigid Express. Appreciate you making it. Hey.
No fan club this week?
No.
What happened to the fan club?
Man, they went home.
That's what happens when you're that popular, though. You get them 8 to 80, dumb, crippling, crazy.
Yes.
Stat Girl. Well, speaking of dumb, crippling, crazy, the coach at Indiana, Kelvin Sampson, he should have pleaded the fifth.
The fifth?
He was ceremoniously shown the door today. Now, they claim it's a suspension for the rest of the season. Dan Dockich will take over, and he'll lead the Hoosiers down the way. But I really want to ask the first question tonight, and I want you guys to call in on this at 328-8280. Kelvin Sampson, did he get hired to get fired?
Well, he got hired coming off of what he got pushed out the door at Oklahoma for.
Right.
Now you're pushing him out the door at Indiana for the same thing. Seems like to me somebody need to work on their hiring skills.
I have to agree with you on that because here it is. I think everybody knows the tradition at Indiana. You know, Bob Knight, no need to go into his background.
Squeaky clean program.
Exactly. And the state of Indiana, the hotbed of basketball, Indiana with Mike Davis, when he came in and took over after Knight, went to the NCAA final game. But then they kind of teetered on success with him. A lot of the alumni didn't want Mike Davis there.
Right.
So they brought in Sampson, and as you said, Sampson already was under probation at Oklahoma for exceeding the number of phone calls he could make to recruits, hadn't graduated any African-American players during his tenure, and now you bring him in to Indiana with a giant, I mean, they had a magnifying glass. Forget burning ants. They was burning people with that magnifying glass. And he still went out there and violated everything that he did at Oklahoma.
Yeah, it seemed like somebody at Indiana put winning before, I guess you would say, integrity. There's no way he should have been hired for a job like Indiana in the first place, not coming off suspension. Not suspension, but being investigated at Oklahoma.
Now, you talk about investigation. Indiana did their own 7-day investigation, which they already knew. It's like, you know the answer to something,
right?
But I'm going to give you 7 days to tell me the answer.
Right.
And after
they had 7 days to figure out how they're going to fire him.
Let's see here. Do we throw him out the back door or do we let him walk out the front door?
Do we let him take his chips or?
I think, you know what it was? It's hard to find a mover at this time of year.
Right.
So it took him 7 days to find a mover to clean his office out.
Who you think did it, Mayflower or Carter?
They probably use U Brothers. U Brothers movers, you know.
And don't come back.
That's it. They one way. They don't do round trips. So they got him out of there. You brought up the fact about hiring practices. My question now is, should the athletic director go?
Go with him. I mean, how are you going to trust him to go hire another coach that's not going to bring these problems into the program?
Right.
He had his chance. He blew it. Why keep him around?
Now, Rick Greenspan is the AD over at IU, and he's the one who put the stamp of approval on Sampson. Now, there's some published reports that he he really didn't. That wasn't his first choice of coaches.
But he hired him. It don't matter.
Right.
It don't matter how many choices he wanted before him.
It's like
You hired him.
It's like getting married and then
Oh man, that ain't the one I really
wanted. Right.
But,
I can't believe she cheated on me. And anyway, I didn't really want to marry her to begin with.
but you did.
But should I be in trouble for that? Should I be at fault for that?
Yeah. You chose her.
Yeah, that's true.
You said I do.
Right. Stat girl, you think that's gonna happen when you get married?
Oh, God, I hope not.
Your husband's not gonna cheat on you? Excellent answer, Stat girl. You know, you got to stop swallowing your gum.
No, it's a PG show.
It's a PG show, family show. Wink.
It's cable.
Once again, the one finger wonder. Give her a hit, 328-8280. If you want to call in and talk about Kelvin Sampson, you want to call in and talk to Stat Girl about marital problems out there, we do it all to tell it like it is.
Now, where do you think Indiana goes from here? I mean, 'cause from looking at their schedule, you got a pretty easy schedule with the rest of the Big Ten games. Do you think they'll be able to overcome this and block out all the outside distractions and play basketball?
Well, first of all, you know, they walked out of practice today. So that kind of gives you an indication
Right.
of what's going on in the player's head. You mentioned the schedule, even though the schedule is easy. You think about, you know, obviously you can't, we always like to equate sports to war and use those analogies, you know, going into battle. But here it is, Kelvin Sampson has led this team all year, 20-4, tied for first place in the Big Ten. And then you're going to walk out on the court now and look over at the bench and he's not there?
How many phone calls you think Eric Gordon made this week, today, to those agents?
Oh, his daddy was. He probably asked Sampson, "Hey man,
Right.
bro, can I use your phone?"
So you ain't got nothing else to do.
Dude, right? Since you leave, let me get because you know Sampson probably got an office full of phones.
Right.
He got PDAs, Blackberries, the whole nine.
Should have used the right one.
Yeah, well, he should have used that wireless one that nobody could pick up on what he was doing.
Right.
Well, we're gonna pick on what's happening on these phone lines: 328-8280. Kelvin Sampson, is that you?
Who?
Kelvin Sampson?
Yeah, Kelvin Sampson. What's going on?
Coach, I understand that they kicked you to the curb today.
No, I ain't kicked to the curb yet.
You ain't get kicked to the curb yet?
No, I got some fight left in me.
Yeah, about 1 week left.
Right.
You just got to pick up your paper clips and your pencils.
Hey, as long as I get my chips, I'm all right.
Well, professional snow fighter, what's going on, man?
Oh, man, it's rough out here. It's rough out here.
Wait a minute, hold on. Did I just hear the speaker go off and the lady say, you want to supersize that?
Hey, man. Hey, listen here.
Yeah.
I know you ain't gonna. It's gonna be hard for you to do this, but once you slide out by 809 out in West Champaign, I need a driveway done out there. Can you hook me up, man?
Anything for you, man. No, I don't want that.
Don't even go there. Don't even go there.
There you go. There you go. Nothing, you know, back in the day, certain things were sacred.
Right.
You know, you kept it within the family. But now with TV and the internet,
Nobody know what I'm talking about.
I do.
You keep talking, everybody gonna know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Getting my blood pressure up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it behooves me to change the subject. But back to Kelvin Sampson real quick. Do you think Indiana made the right move letting him go?
Yeah, because they got a tradition of all, and it's like, as long as we've been there, we never know to be on probation, so they try to keep that image up.
Yeah, I agree with you there, but here's the other question, and we just got through talking about it. Rick Greenspan, the athletic director,
He gone to,
he gone too?
yeah.
Just not today, huh?
Yeah, they gonna suspend him with pay, though.
Yeah, I got a feeling that you'll see him go out the door. He'll get his marching papers this summer when, you know, everything's down. Right, track's going on.
Over.
There you go.
You know.
Yeah, I think Rick will be, him and Kelvin will be riding that one-way train out of Bloomington, Indiana to parts unknown. One other thing, Bun. Who do you think the Hoosiers should bring in as a replacement?
I hate to say it, but it looks like it's trying to set up for a Robert Montgomery Knight signing.
So return of the general?
You never know.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't. I think right now, today's basketball, I know he is a legend in his own mind and in his own time over in Bloomington. But right now, I think based on what's happening over there, they've really got to go a different direction totally. And I think
They're bringing Bruce Weber. He'd be happy to coach there. Go again.
I don't think he'll be there next year.
now I think Gordon and his family will be another part of the United States next year. Well,
I told you, he'll give Chester Frazier some tickets.
say that again.
He'll give Chester Frazier 4 tickets to the game next year.
Oh, to any NBA game of his choosing.
It's on me, Chester.
Hey, and I even got your room for you too.
You're right.
Popcorn's on me. Well, hey, professional snow fighter, you get back to pushing that blade around town. We appreciate what you do. And when you get through, 2002 Emerald Drive needs a little pushing too. 2002 Emerald Drive.
In Muhammad?
It's almost there.
Almost. Next to the lake.
Hey, when things go right, I'll be back next Friday. You never know what the weather gonna be.
All right, well, you take care out there.
All right.
Watch out for the mailboxes.
All right, man.
Take care.
All right.
Yeah, he out there, pushing that blade. And,
Hey, what you think he ordered at that drive-thru?
oh, he got the number 3, extra cheese, sweet, and with a sweet tea.
A diet sweet tea.
But it was in that big 48-ounce jug with the
Right.
handle on it, and he's just carrying it around.
No ice. Put my ice in a separate cup.
Ooh, I wonder if he's got cable in his truck. But appreciate Big Bun hitting us here, UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Anybody else got some comments about Kelvin Sampson, what's going on over there at IU? Give us a call, 328-8280. Keep this thing rolling. The players, you talked earlier about the mindset. What do you do as a player? Do you quit? Do you fight on?
No, you don't quit. You don't quit. I don't know what that would do for you. You don't quit. I would hope Sampson talked to his players and talk them out of thinking about walking out and stuff like that because, I mean, that shows weak character right there to me if you quit. I mean, it has nothing to do with you. I mean, the man messed up. Everybody got to have some type of morals. So if they quit because this man got caught cheating, what does that say about them?
Yeah, but they've got those emotional ties. And like I said, he's led them through a 20-4 season. They're tied for the Big Ten. And, athletes become real close to their when they get out there, sometimes a little too close.
What's up, girl? LSU?
Pokey. Wonder where she got that nickname from.
Pokey.
Ooh. And it wasn't a Pillsbury Doughboy. But I digress. But I agree with you. The players, even with that bond that you have with your coach,
You got to fight through it.
leader goes down, you got to step up. I think, for example, DJ White, the season he's having right now, I think would just be destroyed if
Right.
he and the rest of those seniors step back and say, you know what,
Right.
I can't carry on, I'm going to
I
quit.
mean, especially somebody like DJ White who got a lot of money riding on,
He got 7
If he
figures.
can go out, exactly. If he can go out here and dominate these last few games, dominate the NCAA tournament, you talking about him sliding into the lottery. So, him stepping off that court, not playing, you stand to lose a lot of money, DJ White, if you're listening.
Now the other thing is that if you think back to 1989, remember the University of Michigan?
Michigan, yeah.
Bill Frieder took the job at Arizona State prior to the Michigan Wolverines going into the NCAA tournament. And the late Bo Schembechler, God rest his soul, love you, Bo. But
Yeah, ESPN Classic had to remind us of that today, too.
of Big Bo.
No, they had the
Illinois,
Illinois Michigan
Michigan.
semifinal game on today, man.
Well, yeah, man. I still say Sean Higgins pushed off.
Yeah, Nick, Nick just blocks out, Nick.
That's it. Throw an elbow or something. Man, you know what though? That show how old we are. We sitting here.
Yeah, this is some teenagers out there like, what the hell they talking
Right.
about?
What Illinois? I thought they went to the Final Four in 05. No, 89 guys, 89. But Michigan went through that situation. Frieder, he took a job at Arizona State. Schembechler was the AD at the time. He said a Michigan man's gonna coach his team. Steve Fisher was named interim coach. He was an assistant coach, and what happened?
Ran the table.
They ran the table and became national champs that
Beat
year.
our beloved Illini in the semifinals.
That's it. Stranger things have happened. The Hoosier, obviously, they've got enough talent to do it. They've been doing it all year. And like you said, they got a big guy like DJ White in the middle. You got the super sensation Eric Gordon outside.
Jordan Crawford.
Jordan Crawford doing his thing out there on the point. You know, Jamarcus Ellis, the rest of those guys. Indiana, this is one of those things where they can either sink or swim. You just never know. But I've got a feeling
They're going to make some noise.
they're going to make some noise in the tournament. And now Dan Dockage is going to be the interim head coach. You know, Dockage is a former Hoosier player.
Right. This is his internship. I guess if that's what you want to call it.
A highly paid internship.
Right.
You know, he's putting on this audition to see if he can be the head man there. A lot of people wanted Dockage and some of the other old Hoosier alumnus wanted him when Bobby Knight was originally let go.
Right.
You know, because he played for Knight, knew the Knight system. So this is a good opportunity for him, especially with the talent that they have.
Right.
You know, and the final thing on it, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Really, all he got to do is just sit there, just like at NASCAR, make left turns.
Right.
Don't do anything else.
To steer the ship into the same direction it was going.
That's it.
On the court.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
On the court.
On the court. No cell phones, Indiana.
Right.
You know what they need to do? They need to get like smoke signals.
Come play for me.
Me, right. Poof. Poof. Send that up or get the old Morse code going.
Right.
Because this cell phone thing is sad. I mean, a lot of people say, well, what's the big deal? He cheated once. You know, like I told you the other day. Our president said it. You fooled me once, shame on you. You fooled me twice.
Yeah, you know.
You know, don't do it again. Ain't that what he said, that girl? Something like that. Okay. You over there. Are you texting Kelvin Sampson?
Kelvin
That's
Sampson.
what I.
Waiting for the phone to ring. I'm texting people to call.
Oh, okay. She's waiting for you to make the phone ring. So
Call
please
Kelvin
call.
Sampson. We want to hear what he got to say.
Exactly. Please call Stat Girl, because if she don't get a phone call, then her and Kelvin Sampson going to be going back and forth on this love connection. What's your sign? 328-8280. Give us a call, UPTV Channel 6. Now let's talk about, instead of the red and white and what's happening over there in Indiana, let's talk about what's happening right here in our backyard with Illini basketball. Illinois took on Wisconsin Badgers Wednesday
First
night.
they took on Penn State Saturday. Oh.
You want to go back that far?
This last games they played before the people saw us, man. We got to talk about it.
You know, that's true. You know, it's one of those things, you don't want to relive the pain, but, you know, if you want to be a masochist, I'll bring it up.
I want that guy to call in that said, why in the hell would you have Tisdale on the court at the end of the game? I want that guy to call back in.
You know,
do you really think Tisdale would have shot a 5-foot air ball?
No.
I ain't saying Tisdale's an all-star. I mean, by no means, but wow.
You know what's crazy is that after I saw Sean Pruitt take that shot, it reminded me of a philosopher who I've tried to follow his teachings all my life, Foghorn Leghorn, when he said, I say, boy, you's way off. Boy, I tell you so far off, you could get on.
A 6'11", 250-pound, shoot a 5-foot air ball, man.
If anybody can do it, he
Sean
can.
Pruitt.
There you go. He's going to be a new reality show.
What's that?
Watch Pruitt do it. Things that you don't think could possibly happen,
Right.
we're going to get Sean to do it, and just throw him on out there,
Wow.
But if you want to go back to that 52-51 Penn State over Illinois, like Wayne said, Sean Pruitt had an opportunity at the end of the game to at least get a victory.
The play that was drawn up, why would you draw up a play to go to the sideline, which is another defender? I was always told that.
Yeah.
Now you got McKamey tied down the sideline. Ball can't control the ball. The only person he can throw the ball to shouldn't even been on the court. Sean Pruitt.
Well, I think to kind of even broaden the picture even further, last week we were on here after Illinois beat Minnesota, and I asked the question, was that game fool's gold? They put 84 points on the board against Minnesota, and then they come right back that Saturday and only put up 51. I think to me the most glaring part of that game was the start of the second half. The score is 28-28. Illinois played almost 10 minutes of the second half and scored 1 point.
Field goal.
1 point, no field goals.
Wow.
You could get the guy out of C-section for the county market grocery grab, have him run up and down the stairs 3 times. I think he can come out and score more than 1 point in 10 minutes. You know, and that Achilles heel of the offense flowing well, and then the team goes to a zone defense.
You give up 52 points, man. You're supposed to win.
Yeah.
52?
Yep.
You should win that game every time.
Claxton wasn't there, their best player.
Right.
The guy who hurt us the worst here in January at the Assembly Hall hurt his knee earlier in the year. He's out for the season. So you just thought, okay, after the performance you got at Minnesota, you come in riding high, and you're going to continue that momentum.
You saying you can't even score 53 points, which is nothing. How can you win scoring less than 52 points in a game? It's impossible.
And that makes, fast forward to Wednesday night. Wisconsin comes in. Wisconsin's battling for a Big Ten title. We all know the success that Illinois had in the past against the Badgers. But now, did the wheels finally come off of Illinois as a basketball team?
I think so. I mean, I was pumped after the Minnesota game. I was even saying they could possibly win the Big Ten tournament. Mm-hmm. They won it, one game and done.
So you kind of give them the last rites right now?
You got a senior out there that's showing no heart. You know, I don't know. I ain't going to talk about his injury. He may really be hurt, but
yeah.
Come on, man, suck it up. This is your last 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I think, speaking of Brian Randall, he's just totally been snake bitten his entire career here, whether it be punching the wall his freshman year,
right,
and ended up having to miss the Final Four season, or as you just indicated, tearing up his groin a year or 2 ago, and now the most recent injury separated his shoulder, and they just announced he's out for the season. So I think we've seen the last of Brian Randall, unless somehow, as you said, Illinois catches fire in the Big Ten tournament and has an opportunity to go on to play in some tournament play. I said the wheels came off because 2 things. Number one, they still played the same type of basketball in terms of that strong defensive effort that they tried to give, but they couldn't put any points on the board. And it finally broke on them. Wisconsin went on like a 23-5 run at the end of the game.
Yeah, you come out, you feed and Pruitt, and he's dominating the game. Why stop? And this thing about not starting McCamey, this and that, it's the end of the year, man. I think it's lights out for all of that. Right. When you got, I'm going to use Pruitt again, he's running off the court, cussing out the whole coaching staff, but he continues to get his minutes. Right. You can't discipline one and not discipline the other. Right. Especially, McCamey, he's going to be there, so you can't sour him on the program. You might put thoughts in his head about transferring. If you study discipline about the small minor things, but you got this senior out there that's showing no leadership, and he's steady getting minutes.
And you make an excellent point, and I think this is where, at this point in the season, you've got, 5 games left? At this point, going up to Michigan tomorrow afternoon, I go out, especially, I always like to see coaches make changes, whatever sport it is, especially basketball or football, on the road. Right. Because, number one, the players don't have to worry about fan reaction at home. Obviously, you're going to be playing in front of a hostile crowd anyway on the road, but go on out there, get your jitters out when you're on the road. I would like to see him go maybe with a freshman lineup of McCamey, get Tisdale in the post. Since Randall's out for the season now, we've talked all year about Rodney Alexander. Get him back in the starting lineup. Get Brock some more minutes. Change up the philosophy. We talked earlier about defense. Maybe go to his own defense. Yeah. Just try something different. I think.
At the end of that Wisconsin game, they trying to full court press, and I've seen him score 6 to 8 points in 2 minutes off that press. Yeah. The press didn't do anything but start off Wisconsin's fast break. Yeah. Maybe you got to think about you don't have the type of athletes to press. Bring them back, play the zone. Maybe you stay in these games longer.
Yeah. But you got to try something.
Right.
You got to try something different because, as we said, the wheels came off Wednesday against the Wisconsin Badgers, and we're going to see if we can put a spare on coming on this Saturday. Are we going to just have a donut on? Or we have a real tire?
These days, Michigan is a remedy for playing bad basketball.
Yeah, that's true. The Wolverines don't look too good.
Right.
Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
Hey guys, this is Kim. How are you doing?
Hey, Kim.
Where you been?
Where you been, Kim?
You know what? I'm a football fan, and I don't follow basketball too much. That's why I've not been calling in.
Oh, we thought you were calling in for the
Giants
show.
Won.
Say that
Who
again.
won the Super Bowl?
Who won the Super? Go ahead, Kim.
But here's my question. Do you guys think that Weber will be there next season? That's my first question.
All right.
Secondly, I was listening today about Kelvin Sampson resigning from Indiana. First of all, I think it's a shame that they got rid of Mike Davis to begin with. They first of all had a man of character. Kelvin Sampson came with a lot of baggage anyway. He had issues at Oklahoma. So if you would just talk about those things a little bit. But yes, I'm not going to let you off the hook. What do you think about Weber? Will he be there next season? I don't think. Okay, I'll hang up and listen.
Okay.
Next season, yeah. Year after next, if nothing different, I can't see him no farther than next season.
Well, I'll say, if you go back and look at history, and not just Illinois' program, look at what happened with Louisville after they went to the same Final Four.
Right.
Coach Pitino, legend down there in Kentucky, he's got a couple national titles under his belt. But they had a couple bumps in the road, and they had some down years in terms of that. Louisville starting to get some recruits to come back in. Coach K, Duke, a few years ago, had a little bump in the road, and they weren't playing the type of basketball that people are accustomed to in Duke. These things are going to happen for two reasons. Number one, with the number of kids playing basketball now, you can't be consistently good over a long period of time like you used to be back in the day. You can't stockpile players. The other thing is that your commitments with recruits, you think, okay, I'm bringing in these 4 guys. They're 5-star All-Americans. We should be good for them. They may come here not paying out.
Right.
And then we talked earlier about the perfect storm. I think all the things are documented about what happened off the court. Jamar Smith, Brian Carwell incident, Quentin Watkins not making it in.
Right.
The injuries we just talked about. So all in all, Coach Weber, this was that 1 year. It's an anomaly. He'll be back next year.
Yeah, and to go along with that, like I said, other than you take away Wednesday's game, they've been in every game within a couple possessions of winning.
Right.
Every game this season. So, you take, a better luck on some of those games, and you talking about a totally different season, and we won't even be asking this question.
I shared with you the other day, Illinois, 9 of their 11 losses, with 2 minutes left in the game, they were either tied, down 1 possession, or ahead by 3 points in the last 2 minutes of those games. That's 1 possession. That's a rebound, a steal, fast break, a turnover, you name it, that could swing the game.
And what that says to me is no senior leadership.
No senior leadership and no go-to guy.
Right.
The guy that at the end of the game you say.
Because you can't go to Pruitt because of his free throw percentage.
Right.
And Randall, at the end of the 2 minutes left in the game, he's not even on the court because he's fouled out.
Yeah.
So now you left with Meacham trying to make big-time shots and a freshman, McCamey.
Right.
So, that's why they're having problems at the end of the game.
Well, I told Coach Weber I got 3 years eligibility left,
Just 3?
Just 3.
What happened in the first one?
We don't want to talk about that, man. Some things happen. Credit card. Back when I was in school, the scandal was
getting free shoes.
And the credit cards, and using the payphone with the credit card, making long distance calls. We ain't had cell phones way back then.
Right.
We had to get on that thing, crank. Mabel, patch me through the mall. Okay. And then she plugged in, but I digress. The other thing that Kim brought up, and we do appreciate you calling, Kim. You don't have to just be a football fan to call Tell Like It Is. You can be a fan of, we talk tiddlywinks, you call here.
I thought she was calling in because of Bundy.
Well, I think that's what I was thinking too, because, he wasn't on the set.
Right.
So Kim's like, where's my man?
Right.
But hey, she hit us. But she talked about Mike Davis. Mike Davis, you never want to be the coach to follow a legend. I don't care who you are. And she talked about the man had integrity, et cetera. All that's well and good. You can't follow the legend.
He wasn't let go. He was beginning to feel the pressure of the fans wanting him to leave.
They were selling Texas Tech
Right.
T-shirts in their bookstore.
Right. He wasn't let go. He made the decision to leave. But, how could you blame him? I mean, you constantly going out there, like she said, he was running a clean program.
Right.
He was winning somewhat. Like you say, they went to the championship game. But they were never satisfied in Bloomington. So he felt the pressure, and he felt like he wanted to go where he was wanted at.
And he went back home.
And that's his right to me.
And if you think about what just happened with Mike Davis, UAB was a minute and a half away from upsetting Memphis last week. So he's doing good things. So it all worked out in the end for him, but I appreciate Kim giving us a call here at UPTV Channel 6, Tell It Like It Is. Now, if anybody else wants to give us a hit, call us at 328-8280. Stack Girl, she's now working on her left hand with her pedicure, manicure set that she got for Christmas. She's going to have to set it down because we hear the phones ringing. Keep giving us a call. Now, the other thing we'll talk about, once we get through with the phone lines, Brian Randall's out. Brian Carwell's gone.
Right.
Not
left.
Who else should go, though?
Sam Rowell. He's wasting a scholarship.
Okay.
I mean, Bill Cole's a freshman. He's probably going to work his way in there next year. But
right.
Simmerall's been around for 2 years now and has played probably 20 minutes of game time.
Okay. We'll go back to the phone lines, 328-8280. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Double A calling from Champaign.
Uh-oh.
Double A.
What's going on, man?
Well, I see you got the ticker across there about Carwell. I was just wondering if there have been any rumors about where he might surface. I heard that he might surface down in southern Illinois.
Wow.
Any truth to that or any rumors about where?
Right now, I haven't heard any speculation on where he's going to go. I think, to me, the shock about this is just 3 days ago, before he announced that he was leaving, they asked him, was he going anywhere? And he said, no, I love it here.
Wow.
And then, he bailed on him.
He loved it so much, he got to go.
Right. I can't handle this. But I think bringing up SIU, I think that'd be a great fit for him because he can go down there. It's a similar system, what they run up here, and
playing in that conference.
The Missouri Valley.
He's going to be probably the biggest player in the conference.
That's it.
And one of the biggest anyway.
And the other thing, by making a transfer, he gets a season to sit out.
Yeah.
Before he comes back with his...
And he can probably apply for a lost season this year.
He'll have 3 years eligibility left.
Yeah.
So SIU, I think, would be a good place for him. Anything else, Double A?
Nah, that'll be it, man.
Well, man, you be easy and stay warm out there.
All right.
Well,
Take care.
okay. Man, is this Mrs. Carwell calling on the phone line? Not Mrs. Carwell? All right, caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Yeah, what's up? I'm from the Pain. I'm Big Wheel.
What's going on, Big Wheel?
What's up?
Chilling. Hey, I had a question about the big move with the Bulls, where all the players get traded. What you think about that? There's a lot of good key players that get traded right now.
I tell you what, I like the move, not because I think it's going to make them better, just it frees them up for the summertime to go out and get a real free agent. They don't have to worry about paying Ben Wallace's $60 million contract. And besides that, I think you can work with Gooden and Larry Hughes. And by them bringing in Larry Hughes, you can probably expect them not to sign Ben Gordon back next year.
Right. That's an excellent point. I think the move worked out best for Ben Wallace in the fact that Ben Wallace was going to be a malcontent with the Bulls. He got the Bulls to the second round 2 years ago. But this year, things weren't working out. He was a square peg in a round hole. Ben Wallace's job when he was with Detroit was to do one thing only, rebound. He didn't have to do anything else.
I knew he was going to be a problem last year when he let something as simple as a headband discourage him from wanting to play for Scott Skiles.
Yeah, well, you know what it was? He'd been around Rasheed Wallace so much in Detroit, he thought he was Rasheed when he was in Chicago.
He had to cry about something, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
Now, the final thing on the Bulls with this trade, like Wayne said, Drew Gooden, bringing Drew Gooden in, I got a feeling that Drew Gooden will be...
He's just as tenacious rebounder as Ben Wallace, and...
He's younger.
And he can put the ball in the basket.
That's it.
You ain't got to worry about him getting fouled at the end of the game and him blowing 2 free throws.
Yeah, I think the one guy I don't see out of that deal sticking around, Shannon Brown.
No.
Because like you said, first of all, Shannon Brown was he was the 15th man on the 14-man roster when he was in Cleveland. And, in Chicago, depending on what happens with Hughes or Gordon.
Yeah, plus you still got Duhan, Heinrich, Cephalosha, Yeah, it's jam packed at guard, so somebody got to go. And
Yeah, somebody do gotta go.
Yeah.
And I think Shannon Brown just got to go back to Maywood for a minute.
Right.
But he'll be out of Chicago real quick.
Him and D Brown will be hanging out together.
Have a turkey sandwich.
He ran the gas station the other day, so yeah.
Anything else, caller?
Yeah, I have a question. You think it was a good move for the Bears to let go Moose?
Yes, sir.
Man, I think he should have stayed there maybe like 1 or 2 more years and everything, you know.
I don't know, man. He's been there
3 years.
3 years. Mm-hmm. He hasn't even accumulated 20 touchdowns in 3 years, nor has he reached what? I don't think he's reached 3,000 yards in receiving yards. So I know he haven't. I know he haven't.
If they got rid of Mike Brown because he gets hurt every year, I think, you know, that's like dead weight on defense.
Yeah, I think you might as well slide him into a secondary coach, make him a coach.
I think Mike Brown will cut himself.
Right.
You know, he might get hurt. He'll get hurt walking into the training facility.
Right.
And then they'll just have to let him go. Well, Big Will, we appreciate you hitting us, man. You call us anytime, UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is.
No doubt, no doubt. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, man.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, the trades he talked about there, you know, to kind of wrap up the stuff we talked earlier about the Illini, Cardwell leaving. You said you think Simrau, which I have to agree with you. Simrau got the injury last year and then the infection. He was out all last year. So redshirted last year, got no clock this year. Stan Simpson's coming in next year out of Simeon.
Right.
So he's not going to get any clock because of Simpson. I think Cardwell saw the writing on the wall with Simpson coming in. Yeah. And, you know, we talked earlier, Tyler Griffey will be here in a couple of years. And then you never know what's on the horizon in terms of other big guys that they'll be recruiting. I think the toughest thing right now in basketball is developing big 4s and 5s.
Right.
You know, because Brian Cardwell was a 5-star player. He was a McDonald's All-American out of Proviso East.
What does that say something about the coaching staff? Are they developers or are they just?
Or does that say?
Part of being a college basketball coach is to develop talent.
Right.
A big part of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not the NBA where you just go pick your players, okay, stick them in, and everything clicks.
Right.
You got to be a teacher. And another player, Chester Frazier, his game hasn't changed from day one to now. What can he do better than he did when he first came? Honestly, he cannot do anything better than. He can't shoot better.
Right.
I mean, you can only guard as good. I mean, you know, what can he do better?
Yeah. His shot hasn't developed at all. You know.
Prove it. For that matter, I mean, his shot has been just as ugly as it was when he was a freshman as it is now. Yeah. You got to be a developer, man, at this level, and I'm not seeing it.
The old saying, just because you put syrup on it don't mean it's pancakes.
Right.
You know, and you can sugarcoat his game all you want, but like you said, the bottom line is it hadn't improved. I think you're going to see, you know, they put in the News Gazette the other day this list of players. He made basically 13 scholarships. We already saw Cardwell leave this week. I would assume Simrau will be gone at the end of this year, and then as time goes on, you're going to see some other guys.
Unless he loves the engineering program here. I mean, if he's not too worried about playing basketball.
Cleveland State. Say that. Cleveland State.
Yeah.
Or he'll be
State.
Ohio Bobcat.
Yeah.
That's where he'll be going. Well, final thing, Illinois is 11-15 overall record. There's 3 tournaments now, the NCAA, the NIT, and the CBI.
Y'all argue me up and down. It wasn't no third tournament.
Well, it really ain't. I mean, if you really want to get
you want to call it that.
Right, you can call it a third tournament. Do you really want to go?
Right.
Is the question.
What does that say about your program? You and the
CBI. Wow. And the first game is Georgetown Ridge Farm. And then after you beat Georgetown Ridge Farm, you'll be taking on Parkland.
Right.
And then if you can get past the Cobras, then you might move on and play DAC.
Right.
I don't want to be in the CBI.
Or Kennedy King.
Kennedy King. Ooh. Stagger, didn't you go there for your first 2 years?
No.
Oh, you couldn't get in? ACT scores too low? You're a graduate of U of I?
Yes.
But you started off at Kennedy King?
No, I started off at Tennessee State, but.
Went down there.
Right.
Did the school days.
Did you?
I want to be.
Right. Went to too many stepping parties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we know. Tell the truth. Once again, it's a family show, so we can't tell all the Stat Girls business.
Like my man don't get on the bus. Y'all sell fish sandwiches for textbooks. That's what he said.
If you want to send your letters to public access, send them in care of Devin Turner.
I'm just quoting my man. I'll get on the bus.
Now, my thing for you, NCAA, NIT, CBI, at this point, 11 and 15, do you even want to go to a tournament? Or do you just want to get the season?
Man, yeah.
You want to get the season over with?
No, man, as a coach, man, you coach, man. You want to play as many games as you can possibly play, man. If you think it's going to make your team better, what's going to make you better by not playing?
Yeah, I understand that, but if every time you play, you get hit in the chin.
So what, man?
You know,
It's stepping stones, man.
stepping stones?
Yeah.
Well, they keep you getting.
I mean, come on. McCamey, Tisdale, they need as much competition as they can get, man.
So
let them play.
So you say, hey, CBI,
Man,
we take the invitation.
Hey, what else do we got to do after college basketball?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we got to watch drug-infested Major League Baseball.
Hey, we'll talk about that in a few. We'll continue with the basketball theme on UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. We've gotten through the first half of the show unscathed. Stat Girl, she's doing about a B- on the phone lines tonight. You know, she's really not giving the energy that we expected. Right. You know, I don't know if things are going on and we don't know about.
Fan club ain't here.
Is that what it is? Fan club. And dude who called the proposal dude, we ain't heard from him. Dr. Bill.
I want to hear that night.
Yeah, well, they got it on DVD in the back. I'll let you hear it. She got proposed. It was her birthday. And he said he's Mr. Stat Girl. Mr. Stat Girl, if you're out there, give us a hit. She's here. She's waiting for it. Phone call. Come pick her up because she's driving rear-wheel drive tonight and fighting some slush and snow out there. So she might need a ride home. But continuing on with the basketball thing, we just got through with the AllStar Weekend down in New Orleans. It wasn't just crawfish and dancing and jazz. The NBA took their best festivities down there.
Hey, this was the best All-Star Weekend in some years, to me.
Hey, you got it right.
To me.
With the three-point shootout, you had the dunk contest and skills challenge. You had your celebrity game on Friday, and it culminated on Sunday with the All-Star game. Now, my question to you about All-Star Weekend, you say it was the best you had in years. What's the one thing that stood out for you?
Obviously, the athleticism of Dwight Howard. You talking about a 7-footer, that's, projecting his body through the air like that. That's difficult stuff, man.
Yeah.
But to see somebody jump up and peek his head over the rim and blow out a candle, man, come on. That was creativity right there.
You hit the nail on the head. I still go back to Dwight Howard because for a big man to elevate in them tight underoos like that, I know that little Superman outfit he had on.
That's probably why he got up so high.
I think so because he kind of tightened up in certain areas. And then like you talked about, he didn't even touch the rim. Boom, he just threw it through the basket.
Down.
Yeah. I think Gerald Green, you talk about creativity, for the boy to take his shoes off and then
throw it between his legs
and dunk it in stocking feet. That was something else. But I think the NBA is doing a better job than ever in terms of marketing that weekend compared to what they did in the past.
Yep. And got an old Alana boy took home the skills competition.
Darren Williams.
Smashed him.
I think, a lot of people were upset that Darren didn't get on the All-Star team.
Brandon Roy over Darren, I don't see that.
Well, I think Brandon Roy is playing more of a shooting guard. I think Darren's issue right now is playing in the West and all the point guards that you have out there. But before we go on with Darren Williams, we're going to go to these phone lines. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
I'm Doug Drovich from Urbana, Illinois.
Yes, sir.
And I just thought that the All-Star game was horrible this year. There was no excitement, just nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, the game itself, I have to agree with you about the game. It's no more than a glorified exhibition. And guys are really out there playing, number one, playing to the fans. Number two, they're playing not to get hurt. So you're not going to see any defense out there. And they really don't lock down and try to play real basketball to probably the last 4 minutes of the game itself. But did you see any other festivities at the All-Star game that you enjoyed?
No, I liked it, but I thought the biggest All-Star stuff was Darren Williams. I cannot believe the team.
I agree.
Well, one of the things I was going to say real quick about Darren Williams, as I was to say, is that playing in the West, I know a lot of people around here love Darren as a former Illini, and he's doing good things at Utah. But he's playing in the Western Conference, and you've got Steve Nash, you've got Chris Paul, you got Allen Iverson, you got Tony Parker, and not only are I'm calling off those guys in terms of playing the same position, but their teams have better records. So when you get into a situation like that,
I can't see them putting Tony Parker. Darren Williams had a better season than Tony Parker.
well, Tony Parker's been hurt this year, but for longevity and the fact of what he's done.
That's my point.
You know, what
Why
he's
put
done.
a hurt player on the All-Star team?
Well, he didn't. He wasn't out there. But you're talking about Chris Paul and you're talking about Steve Nash at those two positions, and they're only taking. If you look, they're only taking two guys on a particular position. You brought up Brandon Roy.
Yeah.
Brandon Roy is playing big time basketball for Portland. He was last year's Rookie of the Year, and he plays a different position. You know.
Still playing. I've seen him running point guard, man.
Yeah, but he's not. You know, Jared Jack is one of the guys that's running the point for Portland. You know, like I said, Darren's doing a great thing. If Darren was playing in the East, Darren would be an All-Star, no brainer. But he's just playing. It's one of those things. It's just like if you think about the Pro Bowl in the NFL, and if you play in a particular conference, like if you play in the AFC as a quarterback, you got Tom Brady and Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
No matter how good you are,
Right.
You got those. Those are the first names that jump out, regardless of what their seasons are. You know, and I think that's going to be the thing until Utah, number one, gets above the other teams in the Western
They're running
Conference.
neck and neck with them right now.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I think Darren is neck and neck with Chris Paul right now. I mean, Chris Paul is yet to beat him,
Right.
you know, head to head.
But the issue, once again, is the Hornets are what?
What, 2 games over Utah?
Yeah. They're 2 games over. if it's just two games, it's
2
two
games over
games.
Utah.
Until they get to that point where they are either contending for a championship or because the other thing that helped Chris
They
Paul,
are.
where was the All-Star game at?
Yeah, true that.
It was in his backyard.
Yeah, true that.
You know, so folks was down there, they biting crawfish heads out and on the internet. Chris Paul, we gonna put in Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
Right, Chris Paul. Mighty Cruncher, don't you know? Ooh-wee. But we talked about the trades that happened. Now, everybody been talking about the trades that happened in the past 2 weeks. But the biggest trade of the year was the first trade. Kevin Garnett going to Boston, and then Ray Allen showing up in Boston.
Right.
That, to me, set the tone for everything else that's been happening.
And another minor trade, but it made this team better. Kyle Korver going to Utah.
Yeah.
You made them a more dynamic team from the outside. You know, they're right there in the thick of things at the top of the Western Conference.
Yeah, now, you talked about Kyle Korver going to Utah. We all know I had mentioned earlier about Kevin Garnett going to Boston. Shaq is now in Phoenix. Paul Gasol is now a Laker. And then we had the final trade in the East where we talked earlier, Ben Wallace going to Cleveland and boosting that baseline in terms of really giving LeBron James a guy that's going to show that physical toughness down low for him.
Yeah, but there's one thing I can say about that trade. Ilgauskas, we all know, injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets hurt, where do you go to for scoring from your low post?
Well,
They'll be just like the Bulls were.
yeah, well, except for one thing.
LeBron.
That's it. The Bulls don't have 20. They used to have 23. Right. Cleveland got 23 right now. Now, Shaq and Kobe. Shaq hit the floor on Wednesday night. First game.
That was a great game, though. Great game.
Did you see the way Kobe Bryant responded in that game, though?
He told Shaq in Phoenix, y'all got to come get it.
Thank you.
Come take it.
I think that sent a message not only to Phoenix,
The rest of the league.
that sent a message to the rest of the league that Kobe Bryant has now decided.
But I will say this. Shaq hadn't played in probably a month.
Right.
The man got out there and played 29 minutes, put up 15 points, and without really even knowing the offense.
Right.
Without even knowing his players. So once they get comfortable and learn the spacing of the court with Shaq on the court with them, they're going to be hard to beat, man.
Well, they put up, 117 points that night. Yeah. So the myth about Phoenix can't run with Shaq, that was destroyed in the first game.
Shaq don't have to run. He got to get the rebound and kick it out.
That's it. He's the 5-man, not the point.
Right.
And speaking of points, Stack Girl's the point man on this show. And she just threw us an assist in terms of phone call. Call her, give us your name. Where you calling from? Tell her like it is.
Yeah, this is Kwani and Taggart, come from Urbana.
Yes, sir.
And I just like to talk about the Bulls recent trade.
Go ahead.
And they just traded away Ben Wallace. like a perennial Hall of Famer, the best team on the team, and they get rid of him. What were they thinking?
Ben Wallace the best on the Bulls?
Best ever.
Best ever. Okay, caller, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Have you even heard of Tony Kukoc?
Well,
I ain't even said the best ever yet.
He could have been better.
right.
Good one.
No, Tom Boerwinkle was the best Bull to put on a uniform. Come
Hey,
on,
look.
caller.
When you go with Dickie Simpkins, Dickie Simpkins may have been a little better.
No, Granville Waiters had Dickie Simpkins beat. Trust me.
Dickie Simpkins.
But on a serious note, I mean, Ben Wallace had to go.
Yeah, too much money, not enough put out. You know, you can find anybody grab 10 rebounds a game.
Right. I mean, it.
Let me take you out and best of those shreds. Between the Bulls, the Cavaliers, and the Sonics.
I think the Bulls. I mean, you got a young Drew Gooden. Larry Hughes, if he stays, could be a dominant player, you know, without playing in the shadows of LeBron James. You know, and on this Bulls team, he's finally going to get to be that scorer that he always wanted to be. You know, he was playing with Allen Iverson. You know you ain't going to get many shots with him.
Right.
And then you went out to Golden State, which, you know.
I will say this. On the immediate, I think Cleveland came out ahead because they've got an opportunity to contend and bang against Boston in the East. But in all seriousness, in 3 years, this trade won't matter because the players that were traded, none of them will be on the same team.
Right.
You know, so I think right now Cleveland made the move. Caller, we appreciate you giving us a hit. Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling, man.
And save me one of them beers. Sound like they getting it on over there.
Right, man. I started doing the Roger Clemens. I started licking my lips and, you know, Mr. Yeah, can I get one of them 24 ounces?
Right.
Let me get a repeat on what I just had.
Right.
But he talked about these trades, and now we're talking about conferences. Does that trade make Cleveland the beast of the East?
Nope.
Still Boston, huh?
Yeah. Man, honestly, you talking about 3 Hall of Famers and Garnett, Pierce, and Ray Allen.
Right.
Do you see anybody beating them 4 times out of 7?
Detroit.
Maybe.
You say maybe. I'm
Yeah.
gonna tell you. Here's why I say Detroit.
Okay.
Point guard play, as great as Rondo is doing for Boston, he is still an untested commodity
not only that,
in the playoffs.
When did they win the championship? Their last championship?
Detroit?
Yeah.
That would have been, what, 04?
And it's 08.
Right.
The same nucleus.
Yeah.
That's even better reason, you know, to why they can beat Boston in the series.
Right.
You know, they've been playing with each other for the past 4 or 5 seasons.
And here's the reason why I say Detroit. It's not the 4 guys that we all know about. It's the addition by subtraction that they made.
Hungry.
Getting rid of Chris Webber last year.
Maxill.
Jason Maxill comes off
hungry.
the bench. He's hungry. He goes and gets it. He does the work that Ben Wallace used to do.
And he can score.
That's it.
And he can score.
Chris Webber could score, but he couldn't play any defense.
He was old. Right.
You know,
move.
you take Chris Webber and Ben Wallace and let him go in a guinea pig cage and put on some Barry White, you get Jason Maxill.
Right.
And that's what you got. That's the reason why I think Detroit is going to be the team out of the East. Now, out of the West, we sat here and talked about the Lakers, Paul Gasol, and here's the other thing, Andrew Bynum, when he comes back.
Right. Right.
Where do you put Gasol?
The thing about that is they haven't played with each other.
Right.
So to throw them in the playoffs and put them on the court together, that could cause problems. So I would think the way Phil Jackson would have to go about that is not put them on the court together.
Right.
You know, let them sub in for each other. Kobe don't know how Bynum play, you know. So it'd be easier for them to adjust to him coming back than Gasol being able to adjust from not playing with him.
Well, I say this, the West right now, that's probably going to be as competitive as it was last year. Is going to be even more competitive. The issue I've got, if you go through the West, Dallas, they just made the trade for Jason Kidd. Doesn't make them any tougher.
Nah.
I think that was the worst trade of all the trades that we had an opportunity to talk about. Jason Kidd's 35 years old.
And I'm going to say this. Until you beat them, everybody keep talking about Phoenix, L.A., Dallas. Dude.
Mr. Fundamentals?
San Antonio, man.
Mr. Boombastic.
They may have the best coach in the West, even over Phil Jackson, because he's won with a minimum.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson has had Hall of Famers.
Right. I agree.
And
like I said, Mr.
And they just picked up Kurt Thomas. That's a good. He's been through some battles,
right?
East and West Coast.
And what did Kurt Thomas brought in to do?
Battle.
And that's the point. Jason Kidd was brought into Dallas. Dallas is still what? Soft as marshmallows. Right. They haven't gotten any tougher since they choked away that series against the Miami Heat. Mm-hmm. You know, in all intents and purposes, they up 3-1. Game 5, they had the game wrapped up and lost it.
One player.
Since that choke job happened, they got that, and that was Dwayne Wade.
Right.
If they get in a situation like that now where they play, let's say, the Lakers, who's going to guard Kobe? Nobody. Mm-hmm. Who's going to bang the boards against Shaq or against Tim Duncan? So we don't know. But we're going to go to the phone lines. We got about 3 minutes left in the show. Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
My name is Doug Dromish from Champaign.
Hey, Doug.
What up?
What's going on, man?
Hey, I got a comment about your best team in the West.
Who was that?
First off, Spurs are washed up. Best team in the West, the Warriors.
Whoo. You know what?
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I got to get myself together.
No, I'm serious.
Doug.
There'll be a tough. I mean,
they're loaded. They're just messing around with the league right now.
What they gonna do is wear down the first team they play.
Right now, we remember what happened last year in the playoffs against Dallas.
They ran.
Exactly.
And they let Carlos Boozer beat them. So they haven't gotten any bigger. They let Carlos Boozer dominate them and put them out last year.
First off, Aaron Davis you do that to go to the AllStar game.
Yeah, I agree with you. They're a good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a good team.
He's going to take vengeance against the league for the second half of the year. It's going to be lights down Golden State, my boy Don Nelson, to the top.
So, Doug, let me ask you this. Do you got that Nelly poster over your bed right now? Don Nelson holding up the 4 fingers, Baron Davis coming up the court with the ball. I'm going to tell you right now, they are probably the most exciting team when it comes to the offensive end, but when it gets to the playoffs, you cannot expect them to put up threes and score as many points as they normally do.
I'm going to say this, though. For all the teams that's going to the playoffs, nobody wants to play them in the first round.
Yeah. No, you still there, Doug? Oh, Doug, you got cut off? Well, Doug, we appreciate you calling.
I wouldn't want to play them in the first round, though.
Yeah, like you're exactly right with the energy level.
Yeah.
But they can't get any farther than the second round with that style of basketball. That's the reason why Phoenix went out and got Shaq. Right. Because you can't score 100 points a game in NBA playoff basketball and expect to win a playoff series that way.
Right.
You've got to be tough in the middle. You got to be able to grind it out, and you got to be able to rebound. But we appreciate Doug giving us a call. We got a minute left in the show. We got to thank Jason and Big John in the back of the booth doing their thing. Man, they've been guiding this ship for over a year now. I can't believe that we've been doing it that long.
Right.
Stat Girl, terrific job. Did she make her 8-call minimum?
I think so, man.
I think Doug saved you. I think Doug was the 8th call, even though it was a whack call. But Doug, we appreciate you calling. You and your Nelly poster, and your Golden State Warrior. I wonder if he got like
why don't you mail Baron Davis some clippers, man, so we can shave that beard.
That old Abe Lincoln, fix that up. I wonder if Doug got the old Al Attles jersey and fro set at the crib, and he throw it on when he watching the game at home.
He got that little bitty Tim Hardaway. He got them little Tim Hardaway shorts.
Right.
That's what he sleep in.
Got him up high with his Puma shoes on. Right. But everybody sitting out there, I know it's cold and snowy. Be safe out there. We appreciate you checking us out on Tell It Like It Is, UPTV Channel 6. Every 8 o'clock Friday. Give us a holler. We'll be back next week.